when the young first days raced by like passing passengers on a roaring train, now obsolete. I did not know that they had no ticket to return. I laughed and waited. Days, weeks, and months raced by with green faces pressed against fleeing windows.
Today, B.F. Maiz is a guest lecturer in this world literature class at North Texas State University. For more than 5 months now, he has amazed students, faculty, and administrators with his poetic talents and his ability to communicate in almost any situation.
Made our one-way destination toward Eternity Station. And I laughed and waved. 1,000 passing passengers of days meant nothing to me. 3,653 or 4 meant neither less nor more. I laughed and waved like a small boy in the distance, waving at a friendly engineer on a friendly train.
Maiz's interim appointment as special assistant to the vice president of academic affairs caused some controversy at NTSU, with part of it centering on his past. This 56-year-old wonder last spring finished serving 7 years and 8 months in federal prison, with his last stint being at the Federal Correctional Institute in Fort Worth. And although he admits having been on drugs, he denies the drug dealing charge for which he was convicted. What B.F. Maiz has been could never take away from what B.F. Maiz is. He is a man. He is a poet. And that is what future generations will remember him for.
And I see a poet as being one who comprehends the relationship between the first man and the last man. And you see, we are creatures that walk across this earth the full knowledge that one day we won't be here and one day we weren't here.
Normally at university, you look for academic rank, especially if you're going to deal with an academic area in terms of lecturing in the classroom, or you look for the equivalency to some degree. Mr. Maiz did not have the academic rank, but we felt in our conversation with him and discussing with him and listening to him that he had the equivalency, and that equivalency allowed for his presentation. Obviously, there are always those who feel that you ought to stay by the hard line, and that is, you look at the qualifications in terms of schools attended, universities, degrees that a man has achieved, and that you hire by this way. We thought this type of appointment, with the broad coverage that it had as a special consultant to this office, where we allowed the full use of his talents, that we would get some flack, sure, but that it would be offset by the way in which he handled himself and the way in which he produced once he arrived here.
Whenever our choices are narrowed, we have a tendency to be dehumanized, because that's what we are. We are choice-making creatures. No matter if we choose not to choose, that's a choice. And we cannot abandon choice. You see, it is my contention that the slave chooses to live as a slave at the behest of and he's in an unholy alliance with the slave master, who chooses to make him a slave.
He has something to give, and the students appreciate that fact. And he presents it in such a way that makes it alive and that opens up doors, doesn't close them. He encourages further investigation, further curiosity, further desire to learn, to experience the depth of a field that can be opened up to a person. As far as we're concerned, he's done a tremendous job for us. He's done more than we could possibly expect in any way. And we're delighted with the experience of having known Mr. Maiz as a person, and his contribution, I think, has been at the very top. But another B.F. Maiz? No, they threw away the mold when they made that one, right?
You see, what I did, I decided to be. Then I decided to become. And then I charted the course between my being at that stage and to what I wanted to become.
You studied at several universities.
but yet you don't have a degree and you don't want a degree. Why not?
Well, I have a desire to have a degree, provided that they could give me a degree in poetry. And I don't know any universities that, they give degrees in poetry. I recite it, and I try to perform it. That is to add another dimension to it as I do it. And to me, that is the calling of an artist, to perform his works, to make it as vivid, to make it live as much as possible. And that's what I intend to do.
If you had to leave something besides your poetic works themselves, what would you want me to get from your life?
You are what you think you are. And if you really can think of yourself as a being worthy of this existence, and as a being capable of developing and becoming in this existence something significant and meaningful in the universe, if you believe these things, then you will become that. Through hatred's corridors he journeyed, bannering man's longing to be free. And although walled on all sides by ignorance and fear, and deeply bothered by brother's brutality bestowed upon brother, he nevertheless courageously walked in dignity's honor for freedom's sake. Few men knew he lived until he died. Until he died, for men he never knew, but men who now know him in his devout death, in his perpetual peace. Careened into death's eerie abyss by the hand of a cold conscience coward, his body lies somewhere cold and alone as an unturned stone on the lonely road he traveled. But his immortal spirit lives and commands the living to be free or be not at all.
Another B.F. Maiz? No, they threw away the mold when they made that one.
You are what you think you are.